everyone! Welcome to the first game review on DDK Go. This is a game sent in by our subscriber who prefers to remain anonymous. Thank you so much to both players for letting us all learn from your game. So black is 25Q and white is 23Q. So let's take a look at the game now. So usually the standard move for black now should be here as it puts more pressure on white. So now let's take a look at some simple joseki that double digit Q can remember and use in their games. This will be 1. And now, so black played here, right? Another alternative is to double hane. When white eats this stone, black can Atari, so white will eat. And now black takes the cornerstones. What if white runs? Where will you play as black? Would you block from here or here? If you block from here, white will eat black first. So if this happens, you have to block from this side. And now white cannot run. Black will eat white. So remember this joseki. Now I'll show you another example of the difference between this move and this move. So usually, like learning that this move is better than this move is something that you naturally gain like this instinct over time. So no worries. But now I can explain to you like quantitatively why C16 could be better than C15. For example, this is a standard joseki, and one of the continuations will be here. And now, if white chooses to play this, when black plays here, white cannot block. Black will eat the 3 stones. So usually, white will play here, black Atari, white capture, so black has gained some advantage on this side. But let's see if the exact same thing happens but with the stone at C16 at C15 instead. So this is the actual game. If we do what we just did, white extends. Just now we played this, right? And we say that white cannot block. But now white can block. Because black stone is a bit loose and there's one more liberty here for white, black cannot eat the 3 stones immediately, and white will eat black stones instead. So already, that's the advantage of having the stone at C16. In fact, white can even block from this side. Okay, so this may be a bit complicated, but I think it's good to learn this sequence as well. Okay, so in this case, white eats black stones first. It's okay if you can't remember this sequence. I'm just showing you why in this case it's better for white when black played one move lower instead of the standard move. In the actual game, black plays here, but actually black can consider playing this. Most players will instinctively hane, and then black can play a double hane. Although black gets captured here, on the outside, black can get the corner. Do you know where black can play to eat the 2 stones? Over here. Because white cannot block, you will cut and eat the 2 stones. If white extend, you can block from here. Black wins the capturing race. What if white doesn't like this result? How can white play? Let's take a look. So when black hane, the most natural move most of us would think of is to hane back here. But actually what you can do is to play this. So let's see what's the difference between playing this first and without. So this creates 2 cutting points. Black has to protect a cutting point. And now we do the hane. If black double hane, this is what happened just now, right? Just now white couldn't block, but now because there's a stone here at C16, white can block, and black is unable to eat white stones first. When white runs, white will eat black instead. So this result is good for white. If black Atari here, white just connects. There's nothing over here, white can eat, or just eat here. It's worth noting that there's actually a ko over here. Instead of playing outside, black plays here. So now there's a ko. But this ko is very difficult for black. Anywhere black plays now, white can simply just get rid of the ko, get the whole corner, and now black's 5 stones are floating and can be easily attacked by white later. So when white plays here, black cannot double hane, as we just saw. So the most black can play is here, and white can grab all this land in Sente and proceed to play somewhere else. If black plays something like this, there's too many cutting points, white can easily eat black. So this is very good for white. So white has captured these 2 stones, and white's land here is very big. Okay, so now white plays here. Do you think this is the biggest move? Would this side be bigger or this side bigger? So the left side is kind of already white's territory. So if we could have a choice, instead of playing our own territory, we should expand on the outside. For example, white can simply play this. And what's the worst that could happen here? If black plays here, we can just connect. If black tries to cut, what would you do? You can cut black stones, and this stone is unable to escape. So white captures black. So if there's nothing that can happen over here, white can choose to play the biggest move on this side. And now the same question for black. Okay, so before I continue, I would like to emphasize these 2 main concepts that I would like you to remember from this lesson. I think that this is applicable to anyone at any level. So firstly, where is the biggest move? And secondly, the reason why we don't always play the biggest move, even as high dan players, is because we are afraid of something that could happen. For example, that you might get killed by your opponent or cut off, right? So first question, where's the biggest move? And second question, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, so now let's investigate. Where's the biggest move? Would it be here? Or would it be here? So this side would be bigger, right? Because it's expanding your territory further while also having this side. Whereas if you play this, white could get this next time. But the reason why black plays this is probably because he's fearing a cut. So let's see, what if you play the biggest move? What's the worst that could happen? Maybe white cuts. But now you have the ladder, right? You have nothing to worry about. So white is unable to cut. So there's nothing to worry about there. So we can play the biggest move, which will be here. And if white ever plays this and you're afraid, now you can always go back and fix the cut. So white played here, but this side is bigger. Even if black plays here, white can always come out, which is much bigger here. And now black can also block from this side, which will make it very solid over here. Because over here, black can capture this stone anytime. And white will still have to worry about whether white is alive. Even if white plays here, this side will be solid. Black can already play elsewhere. So again, same question. Where will be the biggest move for white now? So there are quite a lot of big spots. Maybe here, here, here. And coming out from this side is definitely bigger than playing here. So let's see. If white wants to play a bigger move, but what's the worst that could happen over here? If black plays here, you can always connect, or honestly, you don't even have to respond. You can play elsewhere. If black eats, white is definitely still alive. There's space, lots of space here to come out anytime. So this will be a bigger move for white. And now same question for black. Where will be big? This is already black's area and it's quite thick. So black can block here instead. And what's the worst that could happen? So black was afraid of this card, right? But black can capture this, not only in a ladder, black can capture like this, in a net, and white cannot escape. Even if black really wants to protect this card, this will be better for eye shape. And for this move, black can directly block, because on the next move, black can eat white here. Now the corner is a bit fishy, because if black plays this, this is the vital point of the corner. If white plays here, white is dead. Where should black play now? Black has to break this eye, and white's group is dead. Because this is a real eye, this is a fake eye. So white has to connect here, and when black plays here, the inside will become a Seki or perhaps a ko to live, depending on how both sides play. If white plays here, white is dead, black just has to play this. Black captures white. If white plays this, this will be a ko. Or black plays here, white plays this. This will be Seki or Shuanghuo, double life. Because now, white cannot play here. This is a dead shape. Same thing for this side. This is a dead shape. But at the same time, black can't play here. And if black connects, it's still Seki. Because black cannot feel any of this. Currently, 5 like that is a dead shape. But if you make it like that, it'll be alive. Now white has 2 eyes. So since both sides can't fill up the spaces, it becomes double life. And this is ko. White can't play here, black will eat. So you have to fight for the ko. If white wins the ko, it'll be like this. If black wins the ko, you can just connect here, because 5 is a dead shape. If white plays here, black will break this eye. This is also a Seki or double life. White must play this, otherwise, once black plays here, white will die. This shape is double life because black can't play anywhere. Now this is a live shape, 2 eyes. This is also a live shape, 2 eyes. And white also cannot play. If white plays, white dies. So this why it's a double life. Anyway, the point is there's something very fishy when black plays here. So if white wants to protect, like this, white will definitely be alive. But honestly, as black has spent so many moves here, I think that even if this group dies, if white goes to take the bigger places, for example like this, black spends another move, and white spends another move. When black spends so many moves for one corner, but white is faster than black, I think that white is still fine. So now, black has a very thick wall over here, and we should always aim to build our moyo, or like the place where we're trying to build up a large territory and influence, facing the wall. So if this is the thickness, we should aim to build the influence on this side. So black can start here, if white plays here, something like this. So you try to build influence here. If white plays somewhere here, it can become a fight for both. So this is fine. But if black plays here, white might come and reduce the influence immediately. So even if black extends now, the influence is quite small compared to how thick the wall is, so it's underutilized. So same for black and white, the largest part will probably be to occupy this area. Even now, somewhere here or here. Let's take a moment to look at this shape. So one commonly occurring shape, okay, let's look at this corner first, will be this. And now, where should white play? The most common response will be this, or sometimes over here. If you play this, you can just block this side. Although you get Atari and this shape is not very nice, white is still alright because black has a lot of cutting points. For example, you can cut this and you get this side. So this is alright for white. But if you play here, it's not as efficient compared to having a stone here or blocking the corner. If you play this, black can play this, and next time black can come and take your land. So back to here, this will be more efficient. If white doesn't respond, you can even cut here later. If white plays here, because you're really thick already, I think you can just ignore and expand your influence. Okay, this is an important shape for everyone to learn. Here we should extend our territory because you are already very strong. So instead of playing in your own territory, you can expand it bigger, just like the concept we learned just now. Where's the biggest place we can play? Will be here. What's the worst that could happen? But if white cuts, we can just capture this stone really easily. Right? White cannot run away. If white tries to play at the vital point, this whole group is really strong and connected. You can even attack this stone. There's no cut now. Black will eat white first. Or there are many ways. You can even go like large scale like that. Attack white using the thickness of your wall. Even if you really want to protect a cut, here's how you can do it. This is much better for eye shape. Okay, so for now, I think black should come here to the biggest open space. Same for white. So for white stones here, before cutting we need to have some kind of plan. So let's see. I think that while white is still leading in general for the whole game, now these two stones are quite lonely while black is quite thick. So I think it might be unnecessary to try to fight over here. Locally, even if you just play this and this, white is fine as black has this thickness that is facing mostly white stones. Or you can even tanuki elsewhere and just grab a bigger spot. So always remember to look back at the whole board and not just follow your opponent's every move or play in the same area. Okay, so now let's look at the direction that black is taking. Do you think we should attack from this side or from this side? So black has thickness here, so we should try to drive white towards the thickness to attack. So this could be a good move because white cannot get out. Now both groups are separated, something like that. And if white plays anywhere else, like here or here, these two stones can be easily eaten. If white plays this, white doesn't have any eye shape, and I think it's very difficult for white to escape. Like this. So for now, the direction should be here or here to chase white towards the thickness and attack the stones. This will be better because when black plays here, there's a gap where white can escape, and it's a bit hard to contain white now because there'll be a lot of cutting points here. Okay, I didn't count fully, but either way, we know that it's hard to contain because there'll be a lot of cutting points. So now the fight is going on here. So black should try to focus on putting pressure on these stones. Over here, black is quite safe as there's nothing much that white can do. And let's say if black is really worried about something here, black can play at least somewhere, maybe here or here, because it's strengthening this area, and at the same time, at least there's more pressure on this group compared to playing this, which is like a single point connection. And this one also, black doesn't have to play here, it's confirmed connected, white can't cut. So now black should probably focus on the fight here and try to do something, maybe here or here or here. Or again, if you are really worried about this, you can at least protect it in a bigger way. For example, to play here. So for this move, perhaps it's trying to reduce the eye space of white, but we can see that there's a very open space for white to escape from here. So our motive should be to try to contain white first, or at least help our two black stones over here, because we could get attacked instead. So perhaps black can try this. White can try this. So on the next move, white will eat the two stones like that. So let's say black plays here, can play here again and attack black stones like this. So chasing black stones towards your own thickness, and at the same time, white is safe and connected. And this one, the same shape that we mentioned just now, that black did. When black played here, there's a gap for white to come through. So same for white. When white plays here, there's a gap for black to come through now. So it's hard to contain black like that. Here you cannot cut. If white plays this, there's too many cutting points for white to handle. This one has a better chance over here, I think. If white plays this, at least you're all connected. And maybe sacrifice this stone. For example, this could happen. When black plays here, white can play this, and it easily separates two of black's groups. Like this, black will be cut off. Even if black plays here, white can do something like this. Black cannot really cut, as white is stronger over here. Now black can leave by capturing this stone. White cannot run. So once white captures this stone, black has a lot of eye shape. Over here, over here. Let's say white plays this. You can try something like this. And don't forget that anytime black has this move also to go back out and very likely connect back with this group. When black plays here, now white has a chance again to cut the two groups by playing this. This one should be here. Black actually has a chance to leave now. Let's see. Cutting point. Cutting point. Okay, where do you think the next move is for black to try to save this group? First, we try to come out. If white cuts, Atari. Atari again. Play here. So now, do you see that suddenly black has surrounded white instead? So black is trying to capture this white group, and white is, of course, trying to capture this black group. So now who wins the capturing fight? So black captures white first. So don't just look at the inside space. Look around for your opponent's weaknesses, especially cutting points, and see how you can save your groups. Okay, so if white runs, we can try this. And now black also captures white. So another trickier move is instead of just cutting, white might try this. And I think this might work. If white cuts, block here. So we try to surround this group. If white plays here, can extend. And now capturing rays. So black eats white first. So now black plays here. Probably black is trying to form eyes to guarantee that his group will be alive. But you can play bigger places, as black's eye space or yan wei is already very big. For example, over here. Or if you really want to have this area, this will also be a bigger way compared to surrounding just this one stone. So locally, playing here will be bigger, or you can try somewhere else now, like this, because there's already a lot of space for black to form eyes. And for this move, definitely blocking will be bigger to surround more territory, and on the next move, you're also threatening to eat this stone. So at this point, black's group is definitely alive. There's not only 2 eyes, but there's 3 eyes. So both players are not playing the biggest moves. For all these moves, if we look at the whole board, there are definitely bigger areas, like black can try to get the sun, or there's this area, or white can continue to reduce black's land and even attack the entire group. For example, here, or here, all these are all bigger than playing these points. Over here, although black's group is dead, there's actually a lot of AJI outside to make use of. When black plays here in the real game, white manages to connect the stones, so there's less AJI. But here's what we can try. Atari. So it's always good to make use of your opponent's cutting points. And now we can extend. Okay, question. If white plays somewhere here, what can black do? Can black capture these 2 stones? Black can play here and eat the 2 stones. And this whole group becomes alive and connected to outside. What if white escapes the stone, so you can't eat the 2 stones anymore? What can you do? Where can black play? How do we capture these 3 stones? Give you the first move, it's here. Do you know where the next move is? Here. And now it becomes a ladder, because we can cut here. So the best white can do is to play here, because now with this stone here, black cannot ladder. Because now this stone here is tighter, white Ataris black first. So let's go back. White plays this move. We can Atari first. Although we cannot capture these stones, we can make full use of them. Atari. And now if white doesn't capture these 3 stones, black will capture them all on the next move. So white has to capture, and now black comes to this side, something like this. White can run, but we can make white heavy and play all these moves in Sente. And now black can get the whole corner. So although black stones are dead, black can make use of the AJI and white's cutting points to gain on this side. By the way, I think that d5 might not even be necessary, but especially for DDK players, it might be safer to play this. But it might even be possible to play here or here. When white cuts, you can play this and try to capture white first. So over here, white forgot to run and black managed to capture, but still white is doing pretty well. So moves like this we see quite often in DDK games because we are afraid that the group might die, so we just want to play safe. But one move can really make a difference, especially when it comes to getting points and playing at the bigger areas. So this group is definitely alive as there are 2 eyes, and on top of that this eye is huge. So black's definitely safe. Playing somewhere else, like here, would definitely be bigger. For example, something like this, or even surrounding this area. So all of these places, you are getting points and reducing your opponent's land instead of playing in your own territory. So white made a good move here. This is big. And black also, black can play here now to get this side. So this move is not bad, but I think it might be even bigger to play somewhere around here to break this whole territory. Now black can still surround this area. Okay, I think black has sensed that there's some AJI over here. Let's take a look. What's the best way to play the endgame over here? So this might be a normal way, but a better move would be here. Because white cannot block you, you cut and you eat these two stones. White can only block Atari like this. So black has gained some and reduced white space. Black came from this side, which will get eaten by white. But now, there's still this AJI pincer. White still cannot block. So now, white can consider to protect from this side to also prevent the move that we showed just now. So the best that can happen is like this. If you want to be very safe, white can also consider this, which also stops this move. Now white captures all of black stones. So again, all these moves here could be bigger if played around here for both black and white. So one important concept is to remember to look at the whole board and not just locally following wherever your opponent plays. So always try to play the biggest move. For example, here the concept is correct of trying to get some territory. Maybe this will be bigger here, or even this will be bigger than this. So in cases like this, we'll probably eat the stone without thinking since we can eat it. But what's the biggest move you can play? For example, we can Atari first, and then maybe we can play here. So without having to eat this stone, the black stone is already dead, and we are getting all the bigger places elsewhere. I could try this. This is big. Black cannot cut off this stone. White can eat, or white can even go even further. So remember this. Black will not be able to cut white. Though if black plays here, we have to respond, perhaps here. If you don't respond, black can play this and eat the white stone. So blocking here will be bigger. And again, black is safe. Black should head towards the outside to gain more territory and reduce white territory. Same for here. This will be bigger to threaten to eat white. And by the way, the fishy corner is still here. So anytime black can play here, this is a Sente, because black will eat these two stones on the next move. So instead of playing in their own territory, can play here first, and then continue to find bigger places. And for this one, if it's over here, black will have an extra point compared to playing here, where there will be no points to surround. Okay, now back to this move. So we were saying that this will be better to expand our territory. And let's try to apply this concept to other situations. So normal joseki, black plays here, white plays here, but sometimes black doesn't respond after this, and white might play this. Okay, now the new joseki is to play this, but sometimes this also happens. So let's just assume it's something like this, okay? And now it's white's turn. Would you play here? Or would you play here? So this is bigger, right? But are you afraid of the cut? So let's ask the second question. What's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is black could cut, but you can easily capture black stone. So since you are safe in the cut, you can expand your territory bigger. Let's look at the San Joseki. Now as black, would you play here or play here? So this is bigger, right? But I'm sure all of you are worrying about the cut. So what's the worst that could happen? Cut. Okay, not only can you ladder the stone, but you don't even need the ladder. You can just eat the 2 stones in a net. Now white cannot escape. Okay, so don't forget the key takeaways from today's lesson. Number 1, look for the biggest place you can play. So not just locally, but remember to look at the whole board. Don't just follow your opponent. There might be way bigger places on the other parts of the board compared to where both of you are playing at now. And number 2, usually you want to play a big move, but you're afraid of what will happen. So the second question is, what's the worst that could happen? And after you find out that actually nothing bad is going to happen, and you can carry on and play your biggest move. So thank you once again to the subscriber and the 2 players who have allowed us to learn so much from your games. And I'm sure that all of you will continue to improve as you play more games and get more experience. If you'd like me to review your game, you can email me at godrakogo@gmail.com. No promises, as I don't know how many games I'll be receiving, but I'll try. And I think it's great if the games I review are from people who are actually watching the channel. So thank you for joining us in this review. I hope you learned a lot and see you in the next video.